Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brittany, and in today's video we are going to be talking all about scissor maintenance. Before we get started, I have to say a special thanks and shout out to LDH Scissors for sponsoring this video. I am going to be sharing some tips that they have shared over on their blog as well as on their social media channels to help us all maintain and get the most use out of our scissors. If this is your first time being introduced to LDH Scissors, a little backstory about the brand. They are a family-owned business, and it was founded back in 1990 by a young couple that just wanted better quality sewing shears. They are now run by that couple's son and his wife out of Toronto, Canada, and they are continuing on with what their parents started by creating scissors with love, dedication, and happiness. And that is also what the LDH stands for: love, dedication, and happiness. And they are committed to providing high quality professional scissors. Their products include fabric shears, rotary cutters, pinking shears, snips, gardening shears, kitchen shears, and even craft scissors. So they have a really great range of scissors for different types. Again, you don't have to be a sewer, you can be a gardener, you can just be a crafter. They have you covered on great scissors. So the first thing that we're going to talk about with scissor maintenance is oiling your scissors. I will be the first one to say that I am guilty of not oiling my scissors. It's not something that I have done in the past, but now that I have these amazing shears, I will be oiling my scissors and just making sure that I'm keeping them in the best shape. So right here I have just a little bit of olive oil in a bowl, and I honestly think I have too much. I don't think I need this much, but I got a little heavy-handed. But again, this is olive oil. You can use any oil that you have on hand, and this is according to LDH Scissors, so this is what they recommend. So I'm just using olive oil, but they also use avocado oil and recommended any oil, so don't think you have to go out and get olive oil. You can use whatever you have. This right here is a little bit of scrapper fabric of some cotton that I'm going to use. So first thing I'm going to do is just saturate my little piece of cotton into the oil and let it get nice and coated with the oil. All right, so now that it is coated, it is nice and saturated here. I'm just going to fold this in half. I have a little towel here because I feel like this is going to get kind of messy and I don't want it to get on my table. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my shears. And what I'm going to do first, I'm going to make sure that I put oil right here on this portion where the scissors close at. I'm going to put oil here on this side as well as this side. So I have them opened up. I'm going to take my little swatch of fabric here and just begin to coat. Now what I love is that they refer to this right here as the button of the shears. I did not know that, and this is also the heart and soul of your shears. So it's important to make sure that this area right here stays clear of fabric, dust, fibers, and is well oiled. So make sure that you again are oiling your shears. So I'm going to go ahead and just put oil here. I'm going to flip it on this side and put oil here as well. The goal is to have the oil to get down under here. So I'm also going to put the oil on the scissors like so on both sides. And I'm really going to get it right here also around the button, because again, we want this part of the scissors to stay nice and oiled. So I'm just going to apply some around here. I'm going to put this down for a moment, and I'm just going to kind of close up my scissors a little bit so I can get the oil to kind of start to travel down to this area. So I'm just going to open and close a little bit. They already feel better. Like, oh my gosh, this was much needed. So again, I'm just slowly trying to work the oil down here. Look at how nice they sound. Okay, so again, I've just placed oil right here in this area on both sides. down the scissors and also around the button area. And so what's recommended now is to just let the oil sit on your shears for a couple of hours, maybe even 24 hours if you don't need to use them right away. If you do, you can just go ahead and wipe all the oil off and clean them and go ahead and use them. But I'm just going to let the oil sit on mine for a couple of hours, and then I'll clean them off before I get started. So that is how quick and easy it is to just oil your shears. This right here will keep this button, which is again the heart and soul of your shears. This will keep your scissors working at top quality as they should. So I'm just going to go ahead and place them down and let them sit. And I'm going to bring in another pair of scissors to show you some other tips to help you maintain your scissors. The next thing that we're going to talk about is air cutting. Now, I again am guilty of air cutting. You see a nice pair of scissors and you just go but this is something that LDH Scissors is encouraging us not to do. I have another box of shears from LDH. This is the Prism fabric shears, and these come in that fabulous color. So let me open these. I love these shears. Look at these. I'm gonna be honest, I have not used these because, well, these are kind of special. I'm gonna flip them over so you can see. That is my name on the shears. How cool is that? Yeah, I'm not using these. These are gonna stay right in the box. So let's talk about air cutting really quickly. Air cutting is when you just take your shears and you are just opening and closing nothing. This right here is not recommended because when there's nothing between these, you have your sharp edges of your scissors just rubbing against each other. And that is not something that we want to do. The reason why that is not recommended because these portions right here of the scissors, right here, these silver edges right here that we see, these are the sharp points of the scissors. And so when they're just closing and nothing's in there to cut, they're just rubbing and grinding up against each other. And that again is not recommended, and it will not help with the long-term performance and ability of your shears. And we want to keep these looking nice and beautiful as long as possible. So when you see some really nice shears, restrain yourself from doing some air cutting. Let me know down in the comments below if you're guilty of air cutting too, because like I said, I know I am. But now that I know better, I'm going to do better. So I am not going to be doing any air cutting with my shears. While I have my box here, let's go ahead and talk about handling our shears. I, again, am guilty of sewing something and just dropping the shears and, you know, going to the next thing, picking them up, and just not being that gentle and being mindful of the quality of our shears. Because if you do so, this is, I mean, top 3 most important tool that we have. So it's the sewing machine, it's the iron, and it's your cutting tools. So it's important to be gentle with our shears. Again, when you know better, you do better. So I am going to be doing better, making sure that I am being gentle, placing them down slowly. And when I am not using them, make sure that I have them stored away and not just laying on my cutting table. Now, I like to have mine hanging on my pegboard from the pegboard hooks, and that's probably the way I will do most of them, except for these. These are going to stay in the box. And LDH Scissors, they do send you out a box that you can just keep your shears stored in until you are ready to use them. The next thing that we're going to talk about is being mindful of the fibers and the materials and the fabrics that you are cutting. Now, when it comes to natural fibers like cotton, those are a lot softer, so those are going to be a lot easier and nicer on your cutting blade as opposed to other fibers like polyester. Other things that you want to be mindful of is making sure that you do not mix your fabric scissors with your paper scissors, because that right there will dull your blade, and we do not want that. And the number one thing that you do not want anywhere near your fabric scissors is any type of glue or any type of tape, because if that glue or adhesive gets down to the button of your shears, your fabric scissors are done, and we do not want that. So please be mindful of what you are cutting and using with your shears. So now I just want to share with you all my new cutting tools. I've actually had these for a couple months, but I don't think I've shared them with you all. So these are my new cutting tools. Again, these right here are the Prism fabric shears, and I'm going to be keeping these in the box. I just love these. I think they are so beautiful. So I'm going to keep these boxed up. The next one I have here is my rotary cutter, and this is what the rotary cutter came in, this little case right here for it. So you all know I love my rotary cutter, and this is what I use for cutting out fabric. So I have that. These right here are my little snippers. So I use these for cutting off, you know, all those loose threads. So I have these here. Next up right here are my pinking shears. So I'm just gonna open these so you all can see. So these are my pinking shears right here. And the last one are my Midnight Edition 9-inch, and I use these majority of the time. So these are my new cutting tools. I think I've been using them since about March, and I absolutely love them. Just knowing that they've been handcrafted and come from a family-owned business just makes me want to take better care of my shears. So I really do hope that you all have enjoyed this video. Again, special thanks to LDH Scissors for sponsoring this video. If you all would like to see more of their products, I have a link down in the description box that you can shop, and I also have a 10% off code for you. Until next time, blessings everyone. Bye.